Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. Today is March 25th, 2026. Happy Hump Day, everybody. You're halfway through the week. Keep on trucking. You're almost there. You're almost to the end. It's getting there. Halfway. And I don't know how many times I could really, recant that on the show. Do you guys like that weekly reminder? Let me know. Go to the website. Leave me an audio message on the top of the page there. And while you're there, check out Apocalyptic Apparel and buy yourself a t-shirt. It's for a good cause. Me and Scooter. It's for me and producer Scooter. So we can keep the light bill on, and keep bringing you these fantastic shows. I hope everybody is having a good, fantastic morning. I don't know if it's just me or maybe my area. I don't know, but my energy levels have been so low, down in the dumps to the point where I've been loopy. Can't remember what the date is. Can't remember what day of the week it is. And it's just I don't know what it is. And me and my wife and I, we've both been in this period of exhaustion. And I think our entire town is feeling it. We were taking the kids to school the other day and we're shit, we're going to be late. It's past drop off time. Sure as shit, the line's all the way down the road. And I'm okay, everybody was late this morning. I don't get it. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's the fluctuation with the temperature changes or something, but I've been absolutely exhausted, wanting to take a nap every afternoon. And I don't normally do that. And don't tell me it's an age thing, because it's not. It's got to be a weather thing. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, is it's got to have something to do with the weather. I hope everybody had a good day yesterday. So a few interesting things happened yesterday. So first, the craziest thing. Start with the craziest thing. The day before yesterday, my wife put in an order for chickens online. She ordered 9 chickens and 3 ducks. Yesterday afternoon, she gets a phone call shortly after 4 p.m. from the post office saying her chickens have arrived. She places the order online. In about 30 hours, we have chickens. How fucking crazy is that? So, of course, yesterday we picked up some chickens from the post office, got them in the coop and got them going. The goal was to have spring chickens, and hopefully they'll be nice and mature by summer, and we'll have eggs all summer long. Our last go around with chickens did not go so well. When it sparks a conspiracy in my brain that these local chickens you get from Tractor Supply or Rural King or something, there's something wrong, right? They're either bred incorrectly or they're given something that makes them expire before you get your money back out of them. So you're forced to buy more. So it's everybody that I've ever met that's had chickens for a very long time, okay, they've oh yeah, I've had these chickens for years, and there's a farmer down the road that breeds some, and every couple of years we'll go get some more, and it seems like they have the best luck. But then when I talk to people that have the store-bought, the Tractor Supply or other feed store type chickens, they're not having the best of luck. So it's really odd. So also they threw in a couple extra chickens. So we got 11 chickens versus the 9 we ordered. Okay, so that was the one crazy thing that happened. I spent the rest of the day yesterday. Well, I spent a majority of the day down in the woods working on the property with the machines. It's what I did. And it's hard for me to see progress when I'm the one doing the work. Okay, I could spend 8 hours working on a piece of property, and because I'm the one doing it and I'm watching the process happen, it doesn't feel like I've accomplished a lot. But if I send somebody else down there to do the exact same thing I'm doing it, and I'm not seeing the process, I'm seeing the before and after, it's holy shit, so much got done. So in order for me to in order for me to keep myself on task and to keep progressing forward and doing what needs to be done, I've been sending pictures of progress to my buddy that flew up from Florida to help me out with some of these projects so he could see this as it's going. So I have some sort of accountability because I'm not holding myself accountable. But then it's also like, I know in my mind what it looked like before I started, and now I'm getting that after result, right? So I think I might get into more before and after pictures, that might be the thing I do. But anyway, progress is being made. We're making headway. The other thing I did was I started a GoFundMe to get a boat. Now, before you guys say anything like, negative about this idea, we could go out and we could finance a boat, or I could buy something that's going to sync with the budget that I have. So you know what? I figure I got a decent amount of followers online in different platforms. I mean, if each one threw $1 at me, shit, I could buy a hell of a nice boat. So I did. So I got the GoFundMe going for the boat. So if you'd be so inclined, go to my link tree, find it through the website or through one of my social medias, and it'll take you to the GoFundMe. And if you want to donate to the boat fund, that would be fan-fucking-tastic. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Can't get enough of Jester Dooms? Check out his other show, It's Doomsday Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. That's It's Doomsday Podcast.
Back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Go there. Buy an apocalyptic apparel t-shirt. Use the audio button at the top of the screen there. And go find my link tree on one of the socials at Jester Dooms to help fucking get me a boat, man. Shit. So it jokingly came up in conversation, this whole, get a boat through GoFundMe thing. And then I really just came to the conclusion, like, well, shit. Like if every follower would donate $1, I could have a hell of a boat, right? Or not even so much if every follower donated $1. If every follower donated 50 cents, I'd still have a hell of a fucking boat, right? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, so yeah, here's hoping, because that would be really, really, really cool. Anyway, we did have a news article here I wanted to tear into. Of course, as always, on the Epic Times, jury orders Meta to pay $375 million in social media safety trial. Now, if you guys haven't, if you're new to the show, please like, share, and subscribe. But we have been tearing into the whole social media thing and the debacle that it does on the youth, over the last few months. We've talked about this a handful of times. And in yesterday's show, I talked about the destruction of the nuclear family and how our children, I believe, are being targeted yet again, and about how shock and awe to the system is negative, and tried to make you put yourself in circumstances in your life to where you know what that feeling is and how insignificant a happening in your life could give you that shock and awe. Like how we talked about, your buddy goes from a Ford to a Dodge, and it's like he was a diehard Ford guy. Now he's rolling around in a Ram. Like, wow, that fucks with you, kind of thing. But let's go ahead and tear into this. A jury in New Mexico on March 24th found that Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, violated a state law by failing to disclose risks to children on its social media platforms. New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres brought the case following an undercover operation where adults were able to send inappropriate sexual material to agents posting as underage users. He alleged that Meta violated the state's Unfair Practices Act because it knew about possible danger to children, but hid that knowledge from the public. The jury found that Meta breached the state's consumer protection law and imposed a $375 million fine. Prosecutor Linda Singer has asked the jury to fine the social media giant $2 billion. She said safety issues on Meta platforms weren't mistakes, in quotations. They were a product of a corporate philosophy that chose growth and engagement over children's safety. Singer said, and young people in this state and around the country have borne the cost. Meta attorney Kevin Huff said the company works hard to protect children. Meta has 40,000 people working to make its apps as safe as possible, he told jurors. But he said the company cannot intercept every harmful interaction. No one can. With billions of pieces of content every day, even the Beast system cannot catch all of it. Now, I want to pause for a second here. And I mean, you do have to understand that it's almost impossible for them to get every message. It's impossible to think that every message that's inappropriate could be filtered. It's impossible to think that people won't come up with new codes of talking or different ways to manipulate, or simply asking somebody to jump on another app to talk to them. Okay. Now, the reality is that if you really truly wanted this platform to be safe, if you did, all right, you would have locks in place and barricades in place to where if an underage user was registered as an underage user on the platform, they couldn't communicate with anybody over said age. However, people are going to make fake profiles and they're going to keep breaking the law on the internet as time goes on. And until we have like really solid, good AI algorithms that can detect every little single thing, it's going to continue. Now, we used to warn our children of the dangers of the internet. And with us getting busier and being forced out of our homes and having to work more, you're not able to monitor your children as much with the cell phone, with the laptop, with the tablet, with the TV. You know, it's a lot more difficult now. And we also live in a day and age where the home phone is no longer a thing. So if there's an emergency, your kids have to have their cell phones, right? Right. So just something to chew on with that. You know, everybody wants a foolproof, perfect system. The fact of the matter is that they just don't exist. It's a very infantile thought to think that we can solve every problem with every app, every internet website, everything. We just cannot. Okay. And this starts at home. Your job as a parent is to keep your children safe. The end. You should be monitoring what they're doing. You shouldn't be lazy. You should be checking in on them, not ignoring them. You should be taking an interest in what they find interesting, not telling them it's stupid or insignificant. Okay. That's what we should be doing. And am I guilty of these things sometimes? My kids come over, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Go away. Like, yeah, of course I do that. I'm a dad. I've got kids. I'm tired, man. I need a break from time to time. We all do. Okay. But there's a line of, you know, like here's the reality. My one son, I feel, is way too young to have a cell phone, but my wife wants him to have a cell phone so he can potentially call if there's an emergency. Or if he wants to talk to his grandmother, he has his own phone so she can call him. You know, there's justifications in it. And with the way we travel, it's a great thing to help occupy him on the planes, in the car, things like this, right? Now, here's the caveat to this. He has a password on that phone that only we have. Can he make emergency phone calls? Yes. Can he answer phone calls? Yes. Can he browse the internet? No. Can he create a Facebook? No. Can he download any apps without permission? No. He cannot. Okay, so the way it works is if he wants access to that phone, he brings us the phone, we put in the password for him, and then he has access to it. And he has no problem with that. He gets on there, he does his language learning for the day, he does his little playing around on the internet while the phone's unlocked. Then once it relocks, he's basically done. And he doesn't come to us again to unlock it. He's like, okay, I've had enough phone. And we did this not initially, but because we were monitoring what was going on. And some of his searches had us kind of questioning things. Like all his searches used to be like classic cars and this, that, the other. And then it seemed like maybe he was taking an interest in some things he shouldn't have been taking an interest in. And we're like, okay, well now we're gonna, we monitor you, we see what you're up to, we're shutting it down. And that's what we should all be doing. We'll be right back after these messages.
Jester from It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show here. Do you ever find yourself overloaded with way too much information? Too many logins, too many passwords, too many websites for stuff you like? Yeah, I'm the same way. You don't have to worry about that with the Doom Daily Show and It's Doomsday Podcast. Let's make it simple. Just visit linktree.com/JesterDooms. Add it to your bookmarks. That way, when you need to find the right information, it's right there, under a tap of your finger or a click of your mouse. Go to linktree.com/JesterDooms. Get it, got it, done. Remember, no one has all the answers, but this will provide you with a place to start. linktree.com/JesterDooms. And now, on with the conversation. And here's Jester.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media, @Jester Dooms. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Okay, so, continuing. Last August, 2 senators called for the company to be investigated after Reuters reported it had viewed an internal policy document that said Meta AI tools are allowed to engage a child in conversations that are romantic or sensual. In quotations, it is clear that young people are spending too much time on Meta's platform. They've lost control, Singer told the jury during her closing argument. So there you have it. There you have it. Again, this article is available on the Epic Times. You can go do that. If you've missed it for some reason, I know people are in and out while listening to the show. You know, you get a phone call, someone's knocking on the door, you're at work, and your boss comes talks to you. So basically, long and the short of this is, a jury ordered Meta to pay $375 million in a social media safety trial because they're not doing enough to protect children from predators on the app, essentially. One could say predators, and I will, because that's basically what this boils down to. All right. Now, so I was previously discussing monitoring my children's safety and the things that we do and the steps we put in place. Is everything we're doing foolproof? No, it's not. Can something still happen? Yes, it could. But it's the thing that kills me about this is this is very similar to like the hot coffee McDonald's lawsuits. Okay. Like that's what this is. I mean, that's what it feels like. You burn yourself on hot coffee and then you sue. Like, the fucking coffee is hot. Your kids spend too much time on the internet, something happens, you sue. You know the dangers of the internet. We're taught this shit. This isn't new. There's, the amount of crime that takes place over the interwebs is absolutely astonishing. On the regular web, not the dark web, just on the regular internet. Crimes take place all the damn time. Okay, so at the end of the day here, it's, what are you to do as a parent? Listen, if you're a parent and you're struggling with this at home, let me tell you something. It is 100% fucking worth having the argument stating to your kids, I don't give a shit if your friends are on Facebook. You don't need to be. I don't give a fuck if your friends have a TikTok. You don't need it. I used to have a very repeat saying in my home to my son because, my son, he was in trouble all the fucking time for doing something stupid. And I was the type of parent that if you fuck up, your privileges are getting taken away. If you want good things, you need to be good. If you're bad, you're going to get bad things. That's how I run my house. Okay. Now, I'm happy to report I got him to 18 years old with no tattoos, no piercings, no babies, and no criminal charges. Okay. We got you there. The rest of your life is your oyster to fuck up. But he would come to me all the time and say, my friends think you're crazy. And my response every time would be like, I don't give a fuck what your friends think. They don't pay my bills. What they think has no bearing on my life whatsoever. You telling me, oh, this is what my friends are doing, or oh, this is what they think, has no bearing on my life whatsoever. It does not matter at all. Now, we want to keep our children happy. And we do things to keep our children happy. We go against our better judgment sometimes to make our children happy. But at the end of the day, you're an adult. The child is not. And they do not know better. You are a parent. It is your job to nurture and guide, teach them right from wrong, and keep them on a correct path into adulthood, and hope to God some of the good lessons that you taught them, they carry them with them for the rest of their lives. That's the goal. That's what we hope for as parents. Now, if you look it's some of these recent circumstances that have been taking place in this country when it comes to, the transgender issues and the social media issues and the body modification stuff and, everything being overly sexualized everywhere you go. It's a very difficult time to be a parent, not to mention everybody's got social media. So it's how the fuck do you parent a kid that can Google something and tell you're a moron? This is how it's supposed to be done. It's very difficult. Now, if you want proof of if you really want to see what is going on and where this is all coming from, guys, it's all stemming from the internet. It's all stemming from technology. They're not having these problems in third world countries without technology. They're not having these problems in the Amish communities without the technology. It's not a fucking thing, okay? It's not. You don't see transgender issues in technologically stricken countries. You do not. You do not see Ezekiel in the Amish community wanting to turn himself into a woman. It's not a thing. There is the things that they're putting out there are creating curiosities and thoughts. Young minds are not developed and do not know how to process these thoughts. Therefore, it creates confusion. Confusion creates anxiety. Anxiety creates depression. It's just like an effect that keeps going and going and going and going till the point where you're reaching out. Your children are reaching out to doctors, psychiatrists, and physicians saying, hey, something's wrong with my kid and I need help. Now, of course, these people have been waiting in the fucking wings for you to show up with your children. And by God, they have the answer, don't they? Take these hormones, take these pills. Let's schedule this surgery. Let's get you in for this and for that. That should fix all of your issues. No, you just created new ones and lifetime dependencies on medication. That's what the fuck you did. And you knew what you were doing. Now, it's really interesting. When we talked on yesterday's show, I talked about how I'm seeing more of the destruction of the nuclear family. I'm it's oddly, light is being shed in odd ways, right? Like really odd fucking ways, okay? And we've been seeing the detransitioning lawsuits popping up left and right, okay? And they know that that's not going to work anymore. So they need to do something else. Now, the question is, what is that something else? What is the next thing that they're going to do? Because something else is coming down the pipeline, and we don't know what it is yet. So I remember, okay, this is like outside of my age range, but when things are popular, you see them, right? Okay, you see them. I grew up in the era of Billy Ray Cyrus and the achy breaky heart shit, right? Like that's, I remember singing that shit, bebopping around, right? I had no fucking clue who Hannah Montana was. No fucking clue. I just thought it was some TV kid show. I didn't fucking know what it was. I still don't know what it is. But all I know is Hannah Montana is Miley fucking Cyrus. I know that now, didn't know that then, and also know now that that's Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter. Also didn't know that Hannah Montana and those two had any sort of cahoots because I was too old for the show when it came out, so I had no fucking clue what this was. All right? Okay, but fast forward. This was a show geared toward younger individuals, okay? And was meant to be somewhat of a wholesome show that I believe was on the Disney Channel. Okay. All right. So run with me on this. You take this Hannah Montana good girl. I think her whole gambit was she was like an undercover musician or some fucking crap like that. And it was like not a bad show, and a show that I believe that young people, geared toward the young people. So all the young people were into it. Well, Miley Cyrus grew the fuck up and became very sexual and very provocative and just very, you want to shield your children's eyes from this, right? Now, people like to emulate people that they look up to, okay? That's what they do. That's human nature. You see something you like, you want to do it too. If you grew up a Hannah Montana fan, you probably became a Miley Cyrus fan, and your world probably got turned upside down when you started seeing this bitch half naked running around all the time and everything that she was doing that was sexually suggestive. Now, it would be a stretch to say that that was pre-programming, that was grooming, that was all, they brought this girl out into Hollywood. They said, hey, we're going to make her famous. We're going to make all the kids love her. And then as soon as she's old enough, we're going to sexually dramatize the shit out of her. And then all these children are going to follow this lead. It'd be a very hard sell. Like, you're talking way out in left field. But think about the things we've seen in the past and the manipulation that we have suffered over the years at the hands of our so-called leaders. And tell me they couldn't pre-plan that. And then you have to ask yourself, what shows are these kids gravitated toward now, and what are they going to be, what are they going to be like when, these actors and actresses, what are they going to be when they grow up, and what kind of message are they going to send to their young fans or their fans that grew up beside them, right? When I said on yesterday's show that they're furthering the destruction of the nuclear family, they absolutely fucking are. And whenever I was talking about the shock to your kids' systems, this was the kind of stuff I was talking about. And we brought this all together with a lovely article about the suing of Meta and what's going on and how there's people preying on your kids through these apps. Now, wouldn't it be so convenient if they're preying on these apps after they've been pre-programmed somehow? I'm going to leave you with one more nugget before producer Scooter cuts me off. Don't you find it very odd that none of these kid shows ever talk about the dangers of the internet? You have a fantastic day. We'll be back here tomorrow for another exciting episode of the Doom Daily Show. Producer Scooter, if you would, hit that button, sir.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.